Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rav Eliezer Melamed Shlit'a. Hope everyone is having a great week thus far. As I mentioned at the end of yesterday's episode, we'll talk today about the appropriate way to give out the Kiddush wine or grape juice or whatever it is that you're using to those who are around at the table. And the chapter is called Chalukas Hayayin L'chol HaMisubim. Kidei l'kayim es Mitzvah of Kiddush, so as we have discussed that in order to fulfill the Mitzvah of Kiddush, the person making Kiddush or one who is in attendance and listening and Yotzei with Kiddush should drink at least a cheekful of wine. And if that takes place and the others who are around the table are listening and they have in mind to be Yotzei Kiddush to fulfill their obligation, they will indeed fulfill their obligation even if they themselves do not drink from the wine. However, it's considered a mitzvah min hamuvchar. It's an elevated performance of the mitzvah that everyone should taste from the Kiddush wine. The more participatory the mitzvah, the greater it is. So we're presented with a certain problem. As I mentioned last time, that once one drinks from the cup, then the cup becomes what's called pagum. It's lacking. And you cannot use that for Kiddush. So if you drink from the cup and then you take from what's remaining in the cup and you pour it off and give it to others, then they're not having the same level of fulfillment as you because they are drinking from this kos pagum. Amnam, Kol od bnei hamishpacha shosim mikos hakiddush atzma, ein hem neshavim shos in yayin pagum, mnei sheshasisa kulam nechshavas k'shtia achas retzufa, v'rach kasher mozgim as hayayin mikos hakiddush l'kos hacheres hu nechshav pagum. So there are different ways of looking at it. So first he says that if everyone in the family drinks from the same Kiddush cup, provided that this is an acceptable practice. Not everybody likes to even share cups. That's a whole other story. But if everyone drinks from the same cup, that's considered one drinking, and it's not considered pagum. It's only if you pour it off into another cup that it's considered pagum. And if a person wants to pour wine off from the Kiddush cup to other cups of those who are sitting around, so if the person who made Kiddush drank from the cup and then he would like to pour into others, so if you add to the original cup from the bottle, then that fixes the pagumness, if I could make up a word, the pagumity of the kos, of the cup, and therefore it's complete again, and then when you pour off to everyone else's cup, they will be considered drinking from a complete cup. V'yesh noagin, shamakadosh mozeg la'atzmo mikos hakiddush l'kos acheres k'shir malo lugmav, the custom, which is probably more commonly practiced, is that the person who makes Kiddush pours enough off into a cup before drinking from the cup, and then he drinks from that second cup, and therefore the original Kiddush cup is then not pagamified, and then he can then pour off into the other cups and the other ones. This also takes care of a different problem because even if you do refill the original cup, not everybody wants to drink necessarily from a cup that you have drunk from, especially after the last couple of years where we're so incredibly careful about germs and spreading, etc. So by pouring off before you even drink from the original cup, it obviates this problem. B'derech klal, and certainly, generally speaking, you have to make sure that there's enough wine, and maybe you have to add wine so that there's enough for the people at your table. It says another good advice, another good path one should follow. If everyone has cups in front of them, everyone around the table has cups in front of them, if you pour a little wine or grape juice into those cups, and they could just drink the cups that are in front of them. If you do follow this method, the person who makes Kiddush does not have to pour off any wine from his cup, Because if the wine is in front of you while someone else made Kiddush and you're one of the attendees at the table, this is also considered Kiddush wine. He says there are two benefits to this. First, one should not make any interruption from the time the bracha is made to the drinking, and this will shorten that time. There'll be less of an interruption. And two, there's no possibility, there's no hint even of the wine being pogum. This is particularly good, let's say, when you have many people. So, for instance, when we have our communal Friday night dinners here, which are wonderful, this is a good method to follow. And as I mentioned, maybe people are perhaps considerate of germs and they don't want to drink out of a cup that someone else drank from. So this is another good method to follow. And even if those who are listening to Kiddush have no intention of drinking from the wine, nevertheless, they have to remain silent until the person who made Kiddush drinks from the wine, because this is their fulfillment of Kiddush, it's his drinking. If they did speak, however, they're still Yotze, B'di'evid. And if they desire to drink from the wine, then they should be silent until their mitzvah is completed, which is the drinking of the wine. So I'll give you another practical application of this for me personally, that when we make Kiddush and Shul on Friday nights, which is a custom here, not all over, but we make a Kiddush and Shul Friday nights, and the children drink from the wine. So I don't start saying Aleinu until at least the first child has drunk from the wine, because we don't want to have that sick in place. So again, proper way to distribute the Kiddush wine, there are a couple of methods, and we have also the advent of these fancy Kiddush machine silver cup thingies where you take the wine from the main cup and you pour it, and then it evenly distributes, or not so evenly distributes, into the smaller cups through the mechanism of the pouring and gravity, which is very elegant and beautiful pieces that people have on their Shabbos tables. It's another way to beautify the Shabbos table. So there are a number of ways that we can do this. But in any event, we want to make sure that everyone has their ability to fulfill the mitzvah accordingly, kahalacha, and without drinking from a kos pagum. Thank you, everyone, for listening today. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you here next time, God willing, as we study Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rav Eliezer Melamed Shlit'a.